So let's begin with this. Now we are going to talk about the flow-based programming, but in the Touchdesigner context, and we are going to talk about nodes and operators. When we talk about nodes, we are talking about all the boxes that we have here inside our network. It doesn't matter if it's a container or if it's a shop or sub or top. All the elements that we have inside our network, it's a node. But when we are talking about operators, it's because we are using a specific term for these tools that we find here when we make double click at the background of our network, or when we press the key tab. Also is going to open this window and we will have the opportunity to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 families and one last button that it's made for custom operators that we can make. But for now we are just going to focus in the first 6 buttons here. So the first family is the components. The components are related with the user interface and with the tools that we have to conceptualize our virtual world. If you can see here, we have buttons, we have containers, we have cameras, lights, we have bones, we have geometry. So this is a different way to understand our environment inside a software, because we are more used to use software that have all the tools ready, like we have one brush and we have the tool that create a specific geometry like squares or polygons, and after that we also have the scissors. I mean, everything is ready and is pre-programmed because that's the way that they conceptualize their environment. But we have here everything like raw. We don't have the tools already made, but we have all the resources to make our tools custom made and for a specific solution. So this is a different family if we compare with the rest of the top, shop, sub, mat, and dat families. Because there's another different, all the component operators are containers. That means that we can get inside. And all the rest of the families are just operators that we cannot get inside. We just interact with information if we activate it, and we will see it later. So, okay. We already know that if we double click in the background, the window is going to open, or if we use the key tab, it's going to open. So the first family is components, and here are a few examples, and we can see the different structure of the node also. So how I told you, all of those elements are nodes, but every node is a specific kind of operator. In this case, we have a node that it's a component. In this case, we have a button. And to interact with the elements in every operator, we have to click here the viewer active button at the bottom corner in the right side. So we just click, the user interface of the node change. Now I have the opportunity to drag in my mouse on top of the bottom, and this is going to change if I'm on the top, and if I click, I have consequence. No, the result of this interaction, it's a number. In this case, I have an interaction with a component, with an operator that it's a component, that it's also a container, and I can see what's happening inside. and if I interact with this, I will have a number. But I have to be really clear about what I'm getting, because what I'm getting here is a number, so that means that it's a channel, and it's in the green family or the channel operator family or shop operator. Also, I have a bone. This is just an element that I can use to make rigging, like it's made in the 3D software for characters or those kind of thing for animation. I also have a container that it's already programmed as a table, so I just need to connect elements with a specific information nature. In this case, I need to connect operators from a specific family. The red family in this case is that operator, and I just need to connect it to change something inside. Also, I have another interactive element like a slide, and it's also the same that the bottom. I just need to change the connection, and I will see that if I interact with this slide, I will have a number. In this case, it's not just a integer number like 0 or 1. Now I have a float number. That means that I have decimals. In this case, it goes from 0 to 1. And I also have just a container that is like a box that we will be using this to organize all our process. It's also important to tell that the containers not always has in and out. We can find containers without in and out, but with in and out in the top and in the bottom. It's just for the for the components. Or we can find different kind of ins and outs. We can find like this, that it's from the dat family, or we can find this that it's green from the chops, or we can find containers like this with ins from all the families and outs from all the families, and that is because this family is different. With the components we are going to structure all our network. Now the next family is the chop family. If I do click in the background, I will find the third column is shop or channel operators, and I will find all of those different operators. Every operator makes a specific task related with numbers or with channels. For example, we have here 3 different noises. When we talk about noises, we are talking about random numbers. Those random numbers, we can use it for specific tasks. It depends the way that we are engineering our solutions. But anyway, it's a operator that generates information by itself. I mean, it do not need to be connected with something before to make a process. This is an operator that already generates information. That is different to another kinds of operator that needs to be fit to make the process. In this case, I'm using an operator that it's called merge, that I can use to merge 3 different channels in one operator. So now I have the information of 3 noises in just one operator here. We have here now also something to tell, that it's how we'll find operators with just one connection, in connection, and it's a single connection. And we also will find operators with multiple connections. So for example, if we compare those two, I have a merge here that it's a multiple connection operator, and it has this big entrance. And also we have these noises, or we have the null, that it's a single entrance operator, and the entrance is smaller than the multiple. And we also will find operators that have multiple single entrances. For example, this one, or Let's look for another one. Audio device out. For example, this is an operator that we use to take all the audio out of our system to the real world if we need it. I mean to the speakers or to the audio system. And we have two different entrances, but are not big entrances, are single ones. So it's a multiple single entrance operator. So how you can see, we'll find different ways to see the information in the shop family. We can see information, visualize it in a table like this with graphics, or we can visualize the information with this single number. And it's also important to understand that we can translate information from one family to another, and we will see all of those examples later. Okay, the next family that we are going to see is the top family or texture operators. We'll find it in the second column, and it's the same way we'll find all of those different operators that makes a specific task. For example, we also find operators that fit by themselves. For example, this is a movie filing that it's an operator that we use like an import content function in a regular software like Photoshop or Illustrator, that we need to import an image, we need to import a video. We just need here to go to the operator and we find the path of the element. We select any of the elements that we have available, and this is the way that we are bringing information here to our system using operators. So every element will begin like an object with parameters, with a specific behavior, with a specific information also related with all the system. And this is really important to understand because every element is independent of the rest of the network, and it will work in a specific task, and it can be reused in another network, but every element has a specific information and characteristic that are called parameters. That is what we find here in this box, always in the corner. Always that we click a different operators, this change and show us and let us change the parameters of the operator that we are selecting in this moment. In the same way that in the last family we'll find multiple entrance operators, single entrance operators,